There's nothing worse than messing up and taking too long to make that mistake. If you're going to make a mistake, just go ahead and make it. That's one thing that I can actually admire about the Eagles and their situation. They recognize when there's a problem. Forget trying to fix that situation. Move on. We don't care. You screwed up. Admit it. Move on and go on to the next thing and try and solve the problem. But we don't do that. We seem to take our time with everything. And case in point here, just think about when Jason Garrett, first of all, that Jason Garrett had 10 years. 10 years of being, just mediocre. We'd have a good season and then we'd have a bad season. Or we had 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, followed by a 12-win season in 2014, and then we turn around and without our starting quarterback, we go 4-12. To me, that was the time to fire him right there. You're telling me you could only get one win with the backup quarterback? One win? Especially with the backup quarterback who had been in your system for a year? To me, that said you can't coach through adversity. But be that as it may, when they finally got ready to move on from Jason Garrett, they literally waited a week. They waited a week and let him do the whole walk of shame and everything else. By this time, the Cowboys' coaching options are lessened. A lot of these other candidates are already gone. They always do this. You may not like Dak Prescott, or you may blame Dak Prescott for his contract, or that Dak Prescott has the Cowboys by the, he's got them by there because of the contract. Don't blame Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott did not write the contract. Dak Prescott was not the one who waited over and over and franchise tagging him. See, the thing is when you still have time on a contract and the sooner you get it done, you're ahead of that next wave. The Cowboys are the one that kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to get this thing done. And when they finally did, it basically was Dak Prescott said, no trade clause, no franchise tag, no transition tag, and you're going to pay me the current market rate. That's not Dak's fault. They waited and they got shafted the same way they've waited now. Now, again, Dak Prescott's got him by the gonads. Okay, case in point again. Think about DeMarcus Lawrence. Beginning of the offseason, when they needed to sign him to a new contract, they had conversations at the Combine. And they had it set in their mind that, we were going to get you for $17, $18 million. And they hemmed and hawed and everything else and, basically trashed him and basically said, we thought we were going to get you for $17, $18 million. He wants too much money. And they waited and they waited and they waited until finally DeMarcus Lawrence said, I'm not getting my shoulder fixed until you get me a contract. And that job right there, that waiting right there to get this thing done, he still got $21 million a year, and he didn't get his shoulder fixed, which basically you lost a season of paying him $21 million. We can continue to go on down the line. Free agency. They go through, while other teams are worrying about getting more talent and fixing holes that they have, they just kind of wait and they sit and wait for the dust to clear. And they sign guys that are bottom basement guys. And they look at it and they say, yeah, but we're not paying them a whole bunch of money. But when you sign a Clinton Ha-Ha Dix or a George Iloka, for $1 million or $2 million a year, and you can't get out of training camp with them, and you still have to take a bite of paying those guys, you're not really saving any money, because now the better players that you may look for are gone. And they have to play catch up when they get there because you've already done all the installs and OTAs and things like that. See, it's mind-blowing that 2 years in a row, the Cowboys finally recognize a problem that we all see as YouTubers. We see it. We say it before training camp. We got a problem at linebacker. The Cowboys finally wake up around the trade deadline and start making some calls to bring in a linebacker that another team doesn't want or is willing to part with because they don't need them. Nobody's giving up players that they know are significant and can play. And because you waited and you're trying to get this player now, they don't have time to practice with the team. They don't have time to practice and learn the system. We made calls at the trade deadline to find a linebacker when we knew Leighton Vander Esch was a ticking time bomb and we only had Damone Clark. And Dalvin Harper, you let go because you were trying to save a center. That was a fatal mistake that they made right there. Waiting. No other reason. Waiting hurts you. And here we are. We hear all the right things that, we're close, but we're going to do things different and we're going to be more aggressive and all that. And here we sit right now. No changes have been made. And you got to figure that right now they're waiting. They're waiting to see what Dan Quinn does. Dan Quinn, in my mind, it's make a decision, because you need to start figuring out who's going to be there right now. You need to start figuring out what system you're going to have right now, because that impacts every move you make. That determines which one of these free agents are going to fit the system that this guy is going to run. It's almost February, guys. Free agency starts early March. The combine, the end of February. These are things that we have to go through and start realizing and start making plans for now. It's not during the season that you win a championship. It's the off season, the moves you make to try and get yourself better. And the Cowboys seem to be, we'll go on vacation, we'll take our time, we'll see what's out there. It's kind of like this. Remember when the donuts were huge? You had all kinds of different kinds of donuts. You had donuts with bacon on them and cereal on them. And I remember going out and seeing my daughter out in California, and we went to this donut place and we waited in line for like an hour to get that donut. You had all these different donut shops coming up with the different donuts. If you were starting one of those donut businesses, you made a killing right then and there. Starting a donut business now, it's kind of passé. The wave is kind of past. Oh, you'll make some money selling donuts, but not like that wave. It was kind of like farmers markets. 10, 15 years ago, it was a novelty. It was new. People were like, oh my God, let me go get me some fresh tomatoes grown from a farm. But then the market got saturated and everything else. When you come in late to the wave, you might make a little bit of money, but not like when you would have been at the front end of the business. And that's the problem with the Cowboys. They always wait and wait and wait and wait to do shit, and it's too late. And unless they start getting proactive as opposed to reactive, listen, it's not rocket science. We know today, right now, the problems on this team running the damn football and stopping the run. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. We know where the holes are. Running back, linebacker, offensive line, defensive line. And if you're just waiting for the draft to try and fill these needs, we're going to be right here in the same spot next year. That's the flaw with the Cowboys. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to sign a guy and it ends up being, it didn't work out. At least you chose you were trying. But to sit there and constantly screw up at slow speed, it's killing us. It's killing us Cowboy fans. I'm tired of it. Show me that you're trying, at least. Again, going through my 7 stages of grief. I don't know if it's 7 or if it's 5. It feels like it's 20 with the Cowboys. Peace out.